redneck it is.
For Maker's Mark. I'd like to plug that in. But also the fact that the song was Keep It Redneck.
Keep it redneck, people.
And, of course, that's been in the news, so I thought, yes, we could bring that up.
All right, we're about to switch over to New Day Black and Red, and thank you so much, because I'm a redneck, you know what I'm saying? Peace! Keep it, people. Word, you know what I'm saying, man, you know what I'm saying? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to kick it and make it fresh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism. What is the power of liberation? American Republican and the socialists. You are listening tonight to the half of the New Day Black and Red, live from Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, or Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, depending on which side you're on, and Washington, D.C. Glad to have you here. I am your pick. We have Peon-in-Chief for New Day Black and Red, a program that allows you to get a scriptural as well as a constitutional viewpoint on issues of the day. And we do it just this way. I said no other than Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor live from Dallas. We're so glad you are here with us. What up, Dave? Dave's in the house and the hissy. Mary Brockman's my bouncer. If you diss her, you diss me, and you will be dismissed. This is Dave was watching via live stream and Ustream. You're listening to us, hopefully, via High Plains Pundit Media or Sackhead Radio, SHR Media, and for the 2 a.m. grouping, you're listening to us on the Liberty Channel on Radiation Rising. Oh, look at Big Bang, New Day Black and Red. We got so much stuff going on. I don't know, I have to talk to the professor and see if we can just do a 3-hour show on Thursday. I'll pick up on his show real quick. You know what I'm saying, man?
Infuse. Oh, let's dedicate Infuse to Agador.
We're going to dedicate Infuse to Agador. Whenever we say Agador, we're thinking about Infuse. Infuse Restaurant, 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. Make it your place to eat this weekend and get the exceptional one when you order. That is a double burger, double the bacon, and it's the size of my face. It's just a huge burger. Really, when I hold it, it's that big. Really is. So make sure that you go there this weekend.
As big as Ken.
As big as me. You know, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Ken?
Yes, sir.
Ken, this is important.
Okay.
I offered you. Now this is important. I got to get serious for just a minute.
Okay.
As you know, I offered for you to come live with me down here in Texas.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, but I'm going to have to rescind and withdraw that offer because I heard your show and you were advertising toilet plungers with turbo speed. And that kind of scared me. You may need that.
No, it's not plungers. It is not plungers. It is turbo scrub, and you can get turbo scrub on as you see it live on TV. You can go to my website. You can order it. It cleans your tub and everything else very quickly, so that you're not bending over and spending so much time.
Anybody that needs to clean their toilet with something that can clean brick walls.
You know you're kicking it. You need to stay away from them tacos for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I love my brother. He is my brother. And it doesn't matter the mother or the father. He just is my brother. And thank God I get to hang out with Dr. Jones because, like Hillary Clinton said, he's the white person who's successful in this industry. I'm the black person that will never make it. You know, for sure.
This is white privilege radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a great pleasure it is on Thursday nights for New Day Black and Red live from Washington, D.C. and Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, or Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, depending on which side of the line you are on. And the great thing about this program is that we start with the most important things first, and that's with the Pledge of Allegiance. So take off your hats as I've done. For those who are watching via live stream, you'll see a flag right behind me. Huge flag. You'll be able to actually pledge allegiance to it. For those who are watching via Ustream, there are smaller flags behind me. You'll be able to pledge allegiance. But everyone should be able to, and we're going to let the kids take it from here. Go ahead, kids. Pledge allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. That is the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States. There we go. All right. Tonight's show is entitled The Secular Righteous, the Leftist Vatican, Their Messengers, and WikiLeaks. A political revolution is taking place with a pen and a phone. Faith, free speech, and self-defense have perished right before our very eyes. And again, I want to reintroduce Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor. You can hear him on Blog Talk Radio and as well SHR Media. I am your pick. That's your peon in chief, the exceptional one, Ken McClinton. You can hear me on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Media, and as well Red Nation Rising. Professor.
Yes.
You are wiser and whiter than I am. Go ahead and say it. Yes, you are.
Well.
Yes, you are.
Don't they both go together? I think being wise and white, there's a reason they both begin with W.
There you go. I thought they began with R. See? You're absolutely right. There you go. But you started your show off, and I adore you.
I'm the professor, and you're not.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's I sit at your feet, and I massage them, and I do your pedicure during the course of the show. And I just want to tell you that I ran out of the nail polish that you like, so we're gonna have to go with red. So I'm very sorry about that.
You wearing polish again?
No.
Hey, someone in my chat room just pointed, I missed it, but they said they were about to join the military. Oh. And so I thank you for what you're going to do for this country.
Thank you, sir.
That's a calling. It's not easy, and it's a lot of work. But it's something I don't think you'll regret. I can't imagine ever doing what I did again, but I'm getting old. But I have no regrets of doing it, not whatsoever.
Wow.
And was proud to serve my country, proud to serve you people, and protect you, and keep the evil Soviet Union at bay and stuff. So yes, it was my privilege and my duty.
Congratulations.
Those kind words, and hoorah if you join the military.
Congratulations. God bless you. There is no greater love than to give up your constitutional rights to protect ours. And so we love you and we adore you, and we're praying for your great success and great career in the military. You began the show, and I adore you for doing this, with a focus on what I think is the biggest story that's being maligned by Fox News, MSNBC, all the other cable stations and the local stations, because I even asked some conservative stations in Washington, D.C., like WMAL AM 630, to break this story, and they refused to. They refused to. But tonight, you focus on the fact that Hillary Rodham Clinton does not feel in the least bit the threat to her presidential career by calling blacks a group of people who will never do well because they are professional never-do-wellers, and calling Muslims Arab niggers.
Well, it's not that they're professional ne'er-do-wells. They're just genetically disposed.
You'll never be anything. Oh man, that's like that bad football coach just yelling at you because you lost a football game. But
Right.
apparently, in our country, we have a media, even Fox News, that do not feel it a breaking story to say that Hillary Rodham Clinton is one of the biggest racist bigots in America, and that she's using the political machine to destroy individuals, particularly Muslims, blacks, and gypsies. So I want to thank you, sir, for actually doing what you did tonight. And God bless you.
Well, my pleasure. I've got people that are in my Periscope chat room that are obviously on the naughty list and wondering why they haven't got their presents. So that's why you're on the naughty list. Get off it, you get presents, Perry.
No, if you
have, Ken,
mm-hmm.
a couple of people in the chat room that want to talk. Do you want to bring on some callers, or you just want to do the show? Your call.
Go ahead, bring the callers on.
You want to bring? Okay. We'll bring on, let me see, who's been here the longest? Okay, area code 206. We will bring you on. If I can manage to do all this. I don't take too many callers, so I'm not used to this. Talk to us.
How are you gentlemen doing today?
Good.
Great.
You got the underground professor and the exceptional conservative. Who are we talking to?
This is Trey. I'm calling from Seattle.
Trey from Seattle, everybody.
All right.
What do you got?
So I got a question. First off, I wanted to thank you guys for military service. What branch are you guys serving in?
I was in the Air Force for 10 years, 9 months, 15 days, and 8 hours. And I was in electronic warfare, ECM. I flew on RC-135s and C-130s. And Ken is not
C-130.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were the communication countermeasures.
It's so funny. Every time we were in the military, we always had a name for the Air Force. We used to call you guys folks, but now I take that back. But
That doesn't matter. We call it the Navy.
Do you know what folks stands for, actually?
What's that?
Do you know what folks stands for?
Pogue? No, I don't.
Oh, okay. In the Army and the Marine Corps, it's for a person other than grunt or a piece of government shit.
Oh, yes.
We used to. So, yeah, it was always good. So, gentlemen, I got a question. What is going on in our political race this time? In all honesty, I have no clue what the hell is going on. In this country, it just seems like we have two of the worst people running for office. And I wanted to kind of get your insight on it.
We were talking about this the other day, that we have 340 million people, and the best we can do is Jill Stein and Johnson and Trump and Hillary. I mean, please.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Right, I think so. And I can't remember a race where everybody hated everybody. You know, I mean, no one likes their candidates. Yeah. So it's not a matter of picking the lesser of two evils.
And why?
Say again?
I wanted to know, who are you guys going for, and what is the reason behind it, if you don't mind?
Sure. Ken, you want to take the first one?
Well, the one who could have won this battle without all of this malaise going on within our parties would have been Ted Cruz. So I supported Ted Cruz, but I will probably, I will probably be voting for Donald Trump this year. This is the reason why I'm voting for Donald Trump. He understands the season.
And I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
Ken, let me allow the breaking. I got some breaking news.
Okay.
The mainstream media is releasing something. The news agency of NBC News has reportedly been caught lying about the controversial hot mic video that featured Republican presidential Donald Trump making lewd remarks about women. It delayed the airing of the video until lawyers said they had a chance to review it. However, it was a cover-up to cover their lie about their actual intentions. And TMZ is reporting that they had known about the video for a very long time and held on to it simply to sandbag Trump at the worst possible opportunity. And they are using the word open disdain for Trump at NBC. The people who worked with Donald Trump on his Apprentice show, by the way, and that they wanted to release it 48 hours prior to the second presidential debate, making Trump look bad and had to answer it. But Hurricane Matthew took precedence and knocked it out. And without consulting reporters, someone from them to the Washington Post to make sure it still got out in time for the debate. And this is why they were going to protect Jeb Bush and cut him out, or not Jeb Bush, whichever Bush was in that.
Billy Bush.
They were going to cut him out and protect him. Billy Bush, that's it. But because of Matthew, they decided not to air it, and so someone at NBC leaked the whole thing to WAPO and Washington Post, and they ran with it. So, just came across my wire.
Wow.
What's the news? I don't understand what the difference of the news update was, John.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what we expect of the news, right?
Yeah, it's
crazy. Like, regardless if it came out 48 hours before the debate, regardless if it came out 48 hours after the debate, it was something that was said. The problem with Hillary and Trump is he constantly give them breaks or try to find something to defend it, but it's ridiculous. Both of them are stupid. And as an American that served this country as a fucking infantryman in Afghanistan during one of the bloodiest years, I'm saying right now, these two people are ridiculous, and we need to think about getting somebody else new.
Well, my call sign in the Air Force was Gunny, if that gives you an idea of who you're talking to.
I had a call.
Put up with that crap, people that let us, would we? I mean, would you have served someone like that, Trump or Hillary, in the Marines?
Who would I have served?
I asked you, if you were in the Marines still, and one of your leaders was Trump or
Hillary? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out.
My question was,
as a Marine, choices between Trump and Hillary.
Yeah, let me rephrase. If you were still a Marine and one of your officers was Hillary or Trump, would you have followed them? Would you have served them? Or would you have undermined them and figured out a way to get them out of the power so they didn't hurt anybody?
Serve them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't have a choice.
I was trained different than a lot of other people, and I believe that having the respect, and it's different being in a job where you take an oath compared to where we have an opportunity today to say this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. And so when we elect these people for president, we should be remembering that all of the men and women that are out there protecting us don't have a choice of who we stick them with. And that we should be cognizant of that when we put them in the office. And okay, I'm with you. I think we could do better. Ken, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your answer to his question, because it was a good question, and I'm sure you have a moderate answer to give.
Well, I have a less than moderate answer, so I'm going to give it.
Ken?
Yes. Simply put, Right now, these are the individuals that we voted for. These are the individuals that accepted the nomination. I wish we had made better choices. I wish that we did not allow the establishment to push us towards selecting Donald Trump versus Ted Cruz. I thought Ted Cruz, and in fact, according to WikiLeaks, the one person that she feared most of facing was Ted Cruz, and the reason she gave was he would tear her up during the course of debates. So literally, the best man who could have won this election is supporting Donald Trump, and he didn't run when the temperature got hot.
You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. You have to.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, no, we can't do that because, in all honesty, it's you gentlemen are not serving anymore. And as a person that is a veteran, and you as a veteran, you want blood for more veterans? That's ridiculous. That's where we're going.
Yeah. I don't know which is... I know what Hillary will do. I believe firmly that Hillary will get us into World War III or IV, whatever you want to call it. Trump is a 10% maybe.
If you could just explain what makes you think that would happen, I would like to hear it, please. Like a world war.
What's the number one cause of war? The number one cause of war. Yeah, but the number one cause in modern times is American weakness. And so others take advantage of religion. Religion is Africa, but religion is not a cause of war if America is strong. And America is not strong anymore. We haven't been for 8 years, and we aren't. And if we have Hillary as president, then it's going to continue that way, where Islam is going to expand, and we'll be under jihad constantly. And I believe World War III will be. Is my dog ignorant and racist too? I believe so. Listen, I can fix you being ignorant, but if you're stupid, I can't help you. So I'm not sure if I can help you. I'm not talking to the caller. I don't know. I'm talking to somebody else. But yes, religion has been a war.
I'm just saying, as a man who got his master's degree, as an educated man, I don't see how that option is even feasible.
What option?
The option of Trump.
Well, state your case. By the way, I have 3 PhDs, so I'll sit here and listen to you. Go ahead.
Where did you get your PhD from?
Several universities, but go ahead. That's not.
If you mind, I'll name where I went. I went through NYU.
See, well, I went through UTA, UNT, Texas Wesleyan, and a few others. And I've been around other colleges all around the world. When I was in the military, I went to school all over the place.
Okay, so you're a doctor. Let me speak to you in a little bit more reasonable terms, okay? If you're really a doctor, I'll speak to you in reasonable terms.
I've got PhDs in political science, history, and philosophy, and I'm ordained. But we're running out of time, so hurry up.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. As you being an ordained minister, do you think that Jesus Christ would vote for Trump?
I don't think Jesus would vote. I don't think he would worry about that.
But
please think about not worry about.
No. What Jesus do is something that we utilize every single day in this country as a Christian, more dominant Christian country. So, to love thy neighbor, turn the other cheek. Who is free to cast the first stone? Do you think that this leader is that type?
I don't think anybody that's running for office is.
But do you think that Jesus Christ would want Trump more than any other politician?
I do. I think that he would not want Hillary, who is a traitor and a liar and a deceiver and a thief and a felon. Sure should be. So, I don't know how many dead bodies are wrapped up on Trump's life, but Hillary's got plenty of dead bodies following her. Her husband's been accused of raping 16 women.
Accused, but that's not the same time. You're talking about Bill Clinton. We're talking about Hillary Clinton. They're two separate people, which I seem to find a lot of Trump supporters, which I'm not a Hillary supporter in any way. I don't want to come off that way, but how can you turn around and say that she's a liar when she's been caught in many different lies? Many.
How do I say that Hillary's a liar when she's been caught in many different lies?
No, how Hillary's more of a liar than Trump, when he has been caught in many more, I think even more. And also, our judicial system is set up in a certain way that she was not found guilty. So if somebody's not found guilty in our judicial system, they are innocent.
No.
Not guilty.
Listen.
It's a whole different.
No.
No, listen. I mean.
Hold on a second. Everybody hush for a second.
Wait a minute.
Everybody hush for just a second. I've got a person in my chat room that I'm about to get rid of here if he keeps talking like that. All right. You have your opinions. Have fun, but you get rude like that, you're gone. That's your last chance. All right.
Are you talking about
what you are, R.K. Kimball or whatever your name is, R. Kimball? You people like this is a show where a lot of kids watch. Keep it polite and civil. Or go ahead.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just to talk to you.
No, I'm not talking to you. I was talking to someone in Periscope that I had to correct. All right, do you want to answer this question? I've been monopolizing it.
Well, I would say that I'm not the most gifted intellectual on the face of the earth. I don't have as many degrees as other people do. But I will say first and foremost, Jesus would vote for himself, first and foremost. And in fact, when you look at the book of 1 Samuel, he voted for himself, but the people voted against him, and they chose a king that went against him. So let's take that thing off the table altogether. Secondly,
just before we go any further, what I'm saying is your interpretation of the Bible is one of 3,200 in just America alone, where Christianity flourished for 2,000 years, for 1,500 years before the Protestant Reformation. So what I'm saying is, how is your interpretation of the Bible?
No, you were not saying that.
I can't speak for Ken, but my... Go ahead, Ken.
No, go ahead. You handle this one. I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
My religion is based on first century Christianity, not Reformation or anything that the Catholic Church added or changed.
Well, that's not
any of that. That's regardless of thing. Caller, I got a question for you. Are you actually telling me that I'll accept your premise on Trump? I'm not going to argue that because he's indefensible. But are you telling me Clinton is fit to be the president under Christianity's ordinances? And
nope, not in any way.
Okay. So
what are you saying right now?
I'm not sure what
you can't turn around and say. My point is we're voting for the less of two evils, and
I don't think we're doing that. I think it's worse than that.
Wait a minute. So is your interpretation of Scripture the standard that we all should go by?
No. My interpretation.
So how can you use it? How can you use? How? No. Let me explain something first and foremost. This is New Day Black and Red. I paid for this microphone. You didn't. Number two.
Well, if you want to just have a dominant conversation, then you should go with Trump. You don't want to have an opposite opinion, and you don't like being wrong, which a person that's more educated than you can see right through it.
Well, you take your little educated little self over then and illuminate other people who are less ignorant than you are. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you dominated all of this conversation with a whole lot of hookah.
First, before you just have something with somebody that's a lot more intelligent than you.
I don't know about you, but I don't.
Guys, be nice.
Dude, can you hit a button and let him go so he can go illuminate the rest of the world? Because I have a show to do.
Yeah. Caller, thank you for calling.
Yeah, no problem.
Feel free to call back again anytime on my show.
Next Sunday. Sometimes run so fast though. When things get hard, sometimes men have to face it. Women are the ones that run, but that's fine.
He's a good guy. You got him wrong.
Oh, he could be a good guy all by himself. He's not a man.
He's a good man. He's my best friend.
No, he's not a man. A man faces his problems and ain't scared.
Thank you again for calling. I appreciate it. And again, call in anytime on my show. But this is our show. At this time, we're doing a sidecast and everything. And I don't appreciate anybody calling my friends dumb. You can have the opinion, but I'm not very appreciative of it when you call them that. You're talking past one another, and I think the caller has an opinion that only he's right in all this. Ken, you want to risk the other caller? Oh, well, never mind, he dropped too. So I was just going to see if you wanted to go to him. All right, Ken, well, that pissed me off, so I'll let you talk for a second. The trolls are really angering me tonight.
All right, we're going to go to a break.
Please tell me I didn't lose Ken.
No, I'm here. I'm here. You know what? I don't get angry with people like that because I've been facing them all of my life. Apparently, if you don't have a PhD, you're not wise enough. Yet, Jesus Christ left this earth without a PhD. Apparently,
I'm going to tell you something, Ken.
Yeah,
the more degrees you get, the dumber you are. You know that?
Yeah.
And I mean that because the more education you get, the more focused it is on one thing, right? So you get a bachelor's, it's kind of generic. Associates is even more so. But when you get a master's, it focuses on a specific area. And when you get a PhD, it's focused on one idea. And so, all of us running around bragging about our academic credentials just means that we are ignorant about so much more than everybody else. But geniuses about one tiny thing. And I have a problem with people who want to sit here and get lost in the weeds of religion dogma when we don't know the truth. Mm-hmm. And so, you know what? Phil, do what you want, have enough. But this is why I work so hard at being a first century Christian and trying to do as much as we can learn from what they were doing to, that's right. Guzman says his degree's in School of Hard Knocks. Your degree's in the School of Hard Knocks. And
ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this to you.
That doesn't make us smarter. It just, when he threw that out, I felt the need to slap mine down too because, I thought he felt he was talking.
Yeah, but let me just say.
So I figured I'd get into that piss off there.
Yeah, Professor, let me just say this because do you know how intellectually I'm a pretty smart guy, but I don't want to get into the weeds with that. But this guy.
Yeah, for a lazy black guy.
Yeah, for a lazy black guy, I'm pretty smart. But this is the kind of guy who sits on Capitol Hill and makes decisions for you and me. And he's part of that establishment thinking that he can throw some things around at you and try to bulldoze you over with intellectual conundrums. If I say A, you'll say B, and then I'll say C, and then you'll say D, and then I'm always going to be right through the whole... No, see, these are the guys as to why you need to get out and vote on November the 8th. This is the guy. That's the reason why you go and you vote. Because that guy right there thinks he's better than all of you. He will find a way to raise your taxes and then explain it to you that it's your fault. He will find a way to pass legislation that will take away your freedoms and your liberties. And I don't care how much time you spent in the military. There are lots of people that spent time in the military. John Kerry spent time in the military. But I don't honor him the way I honor my friend Dr. Jones. So the bottom line is this, my friends. There are people who have had the offices to serve in, and forgive me for losing my pick spot for the moment, but I'm going with this. There are some people who have served in some many great offices regarding the military, regarding the legislature, regarding the executive offices, and the judiciary. But tell me what? How many of them have been able to reduce the national debt? How many of them have been able to balance the budget? How many of them were able to make certain that your mother and your father were not going to pay 71% more in Medicaid under Obamacare than they were previously? How many of them? Not many.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you right now, that guy should be the reason why you show up on November 8th. In fact, that guy right there should be the reason why you do your absentee ballot and get the van out so you can drive everybody to vote for Donald Trump, for Pence, and any other individual who lines up with making certain that they represent you and that they're not trying to rule over you and dominate you with their intellectual capabilities and their ordained understanding of the conundrums of the world and the universe. That idiot right there is the reason why we're behind this every other nation in the world right now. And if you don't like what I said, fine. Call it on Sunday show. I'll go to his show on Sunday and cut you out that way too. Now back to you, Professor.
Did you understand his argument? I mean, okay, we conceded that Trump wasn't, our choice, but in comparison to Hillary, I don't understand what his argument was.
No, his argument is,
I mean, what could you think it?
I'm so tired of these fairy tale guys. These fairy tale guys coming in and talking about, listen, what we need to do is put in someone new right now. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that if you don't tear up the rule of law?
Yeah.
If you can't respect the rule of law, if you can't respect elections right now, you are no better than the leftist tyrannist who's trying to upset the balance of the apple cart by commanding media to support them in their election. You're no different than that person. So take a hike along with your degrees. Kicks my Gluteus Maximus. And that, my friends, is the first segment of New Day Black and Red.
That's the religious perspective on it.
I'll have to let y'all know.
Video on Black and Red.
I'm telling you, Jesus must have said many times, get the stepping. You ain't right.
Yeah.
But I'm quite certain that...
Well, the things, I was Muslim that room at the time, and so I took my eye off the ball here, and I apologize, Ken, but him telling you that you need to finish high school pissed me off. I just didn't want to cut him off without allowing him to know he was being turned off, politely. But I don't know. We're in a world of hurt right now in this country, a world of hurt, and we don't have very many good options. I'm going with the Agador 10% theory, and that is that 100% I know Hillary will destroy this country and the Constitution, and there's a 10% chance that Trump won't, so I'm going with Trump.
Well, I'm going to say this.
Period.
I'm going to say this. The only reason why the world won't go crazy is because I've been it. And so the bottom line is, it doesn't matter who you put into office. And once again, for the idiot who doesn't understand, go back and read 1 Samuel. Jesus voted for himself, and the world turned against him. He did it again at Calvary, and the world turned against him. So the bottom line is, Jesus always votes for himself. And if you're wise enough, you'll follow him and do what he tells you to do, instead of worrying about what the New York University told you to do, which I guarantee you is 100% in the wrong direction in the first place. So when we look at the concept...
Well, yeah. When he said it was NYU, I realized he's gotten a progressive education. And, but you would think a Marine would know better.
Well, John Kerry was
an educated Marine.
John Kerry was a member. Colin Powell was a member of the Army. Come on. Let's just be real. Being in the military doesn't make you any brighter than anyone else.
Power.
Yeah, being in the military should give you...
Remember, Ken, that they gave it up power.
Listen, I respect, and I said at the very beginning, I respect and I honor the fact that you surrender your constitutional rights to protect the constitutional rights of others. I honor that. I respect that. You know me. But don't tell me that the reason why you are who you are is because you served in the military. There is no gosh darn way in serving in the military you can come out with that kind of ignorance and blight everyone else with it.
That's what I didn't get.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Because 90%, and
that's why I kept asking him questions. I was like, how in the world did we get here? It didn't make any sense.
of you who worry about my intellectual capabilities, let me go down my resume. First and foremost, I'm the owner of this particular radio program, the Exceptional Conservative Show. Trademark. I don't know too many people that trademark their radio programs. Number one. Number two, I used to be the ombudsman for the voting assistance program in the U.S. military. Number three, I used to help as a policy analyst oversee the District of Columbia through the federal voting, the D.C. Control Board or the Financial Authority. So I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think that you're dumb enough to listen to me, then you're probably not smart enough to hear. So the bottom line is, listen,
Don't forget, you married my girlfriend.
You know that's right. Shoot, I got her drunk and she married me. She didn't even know that she said I do. No, I'm just kidding. But in all sincerity, don't.
She said I did?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to tell you all right now. That's this guy's argument. This guy's argument is Hillary Clinton's argument against Donald Trump. I have more experience. I've been senator. I've been first lady. I've been first lady. I've been secretary of state. I even pressed the reset button with the Russian ambassador. I pressed the reset button. See, I should be smart enough. I'm smart enough, and I'm better than you. That's why you should pick me. That troll right there is the reason why you should pick Donald Trump, and actually convince me to vote for Donald Trump tonight. Just he made me mad enough to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, 30 years of doing nothing is not an. What Russia's doing right now. You guys out there are listening to radio on Black and Red on the exceptionalconservativeshow.com or on UGP Radio on blogtalkradio.com/undergroundprofessor or at undergroundprof on Twitter and Periscope. And that is on UGP Radio on iTunes and everything. There's a lot of ways to get us. Spreaker, what are those videos you play? YouTube, not YouTube.
Yeah, we on YouTube.
Videos. Ustream and P-Stream.
All streams. Live stream, Ustream, me stream, Ustream, everybody stream. New Day, Black and Red can be heard on Red Nation Rising, SHR Media, High Pundit Plains Media. And family, forgive me if I've offended any of you with my rantings for the past 30-some odd minutes. This is reminding me of my old school days on the Exceptional Conservative Show. We get ticked off. Mary will tell you that. But it's a great honor to be with you on.
Glad you woke up for this show.
You ain't lying. Thank you for bringing that call in there to wake me up. We haven't even talked about what we're going to talk about.
We have another one. Do you want to take the risk?
Sure, let's go ahead. Let's take another one. This is all new and all live on New Day Black and Red. Go right ahead. Take another call.
Well, let's do it. All right. 917, you are on the air with the Underground Professor and the Exceptional Conservative. Talk to us.
Hey guys, I'm a Marine as well. I just want to say I've never heard a man complain as much as the guy behind you. When somebody makes a point and you run like a bitch and then complain when the person's not on the phone, I think that's a real pussy move. That's all I have to say.
Well, go grab your mamas.
We have a show, so we're continuing to talk about it, but we gave him plenty of time to talk.
No, I understand. It's not a guy that doesn't want to have a conversation. He just ran. And people usually do that.
You're talking about him. Oh, I thought you were talking about us. I'm not sure I did that. But yeah, that's what I thought too. He did ran. He turned himself off and left the show. And that kind of surprised me. I'm not used to that from Marines.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I've had a lot of experience with them. They called me gunning. That was my call sign in the Air Force was gunning. I flew on EC-130s at the time. Compass call, saved a whole lot of Marines' lives over at Desert Storm from the Iraqi Guard, and got V devices on our awards and crap. From over, I can't even tell tell you what I got anymore. It's been too many years, sir, but that's not what I expect out of a Marine, so I was kind of taken off guard. Tell us, what did you do in the Marines?
I don't need to brag. The only thing I need to say is when a person stands up, stand up for yourself. Don't be a bitch. That's it.
There you go. Hoo-ah.
All right, thank you.
What did you do in the Marine Corps? You don't have to brag, just tell us.
I really not. I really just keep it.
Okay.
Just keep it as 00300. How about that?
Oh, okay, good.
Well, thank God for your service, sir. Thank you.
And I'll leave it at that. How's that sound? All right, Kim, you got any questions for our Marine?
Tell the other guy to get.
Oh, you broke up there. Say it again. Oh, no. I think we lost him, Kim.
Oh, it was great that he came on. God bless his soul.
Yeah, I hope he can hear us. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you
for the call, and we appreciate that. Call back anytime. We lost your audio on our end, so if you want to talk again, call back in and hit the button again. Otherwise, thank you. You're always welcome to the shows. We appreciate it. Oh, and he's gone.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about us first, Ken.
I thought he was too. I forget my French. Oh, man, this has been a really raw show tonight.
Yeah, we're just too sensitive. But he's right. I didn't expect that out of a Marine, to do a hit and run like that. And that's, I know a lot of Marines in my lifetime, and I'll tell you what, they are above board alpha males and honorable.
Yeah.
And if I had to risk my life, and I have in the past, having the Marines around always was better.
I'll let everyone know because
if you get in a fight.
I never say anything to anyone because I don't like to laud my intellectual reasonings or achievements.
I'll just tell you what, this guy has a decent job too. So
yeah.
I guess, and it's so specific, it can be identified by it.
Exactly.
I get why he didn't want to talk.
Exactly.
But as an Air Force guy, I have to say that after 260 years, the Marine Corps are still looking for a few good men. So, you might help them out and break that cycle.
Exactly.
Join the Marine Corps.
Well, whatever he learned in the Marine Corps was dashed by being at NYU. But I will say this: my first job out of college. Well, not out of college, but before I went to college, my first job was in a fellowship in which I worked with the U.S. Marine Corps. So
that's right. I registered to the vote, if I remember right.
Well, no. This is when my teenage years. My first fellowship was with the U.S. Marine Corps. So,
wait a minute. Didn't you work for General Sherman?
Yes, I did. I provided him the kerosene and the match. I said, burn this mother.
The assault matches, when you gave him the lighter. High capacity assault match.
That's right.
The lighter you gave him?
Yeah, but I ran off after I handed it to him. I told him to strike it right there. I knew what was going to happen. But I'm gonna tell you all, America. A lot of people have been looking at you over the past 8 years, down their nose at you. Not just overseas, but a lot of people want to become European and make the U.S. British territory again. And thank God for Brexit. But a lot of people are looking down their nose at you, saying that you are not worthy of being under their rule or being under their governance. And that goes to that idea of secular righteousness. We saw the example of secular righteousness, and as a result, the rebellion that's coming. Brexit was not an accident. So the secular righteousness, or the secular righteous, will find out that their Vatican leader is the leftist Hillary Rodham Clinton. And she's part of the leftist Vatican.
Reminds me of the pontiff. I'm sorry, can I interrupt you? I apologize. But it reminds me of the pontiff that was in during World War II that was helping out
Hitler. Yeah.
And facilitating. Yeah. This is exactly what we got again.
Exactly. Hillary is the Vatican pontiff. Their messengers happen to be the media and ministers who are in your churches. And the WikiLeaks happens to be that illumination that you can read in black and red to make you understand that maybe we're going in the wrong direction with that person. But you know what? There are people that will read that black and red and not interpret the seasons and the times. Not interpret the fact that we have someone who wants to take away your faith, your free speech, and your ability to defend yourself. Part of that grouping happens to be the little terrorist that called in earlier to tell everyone that he was more brilliant than everyone. And if you have to tell people that, you probably don't have the brightest light in the room. So that's what we're focusing on tonight. The secular righteous, the leftist Vatican.
Get rid of bright lights.
Mm-hmm.
You said, speaking of bright lights, you just gave out a clue about our radio show name. Did anybody catch that? I hope we're never going to tell anybody that.
Yes, and Dave was right in our chat room. Dave right, Ken, seriously, as a people, we are despised by the political class. Yes, you are. I've been to the cocktail parties where they look down their nose and they joke with you and they say, I can't hold this conversation with you because you don't have the insights that I do. You don't have that coveted sphere of influence. You're just a redneck. You're just a never do a no dweller, a no well doer. You'll never make it. You'll never be anything but my slave.
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Well, no. That's the way it goes. You know, you got to. I get these guys a lot in my Periscope chat room. So they don't faze me like they do you, but I get a lot of trolls, and
yeah,
and it's you know, it's scary sometimes when you think that they outnumber us.
Yeah,
you know, that's what's scary, is that we're outnumbered by them. And the thing is what is going to happen this election cycle? Neither one of us have been advocates of Trump from the beginning.
Yeah.
We have both been quite, boisterous about that Trump was our last choice. But he's the nominee now. And when you compare it to what Hillary and Bill have done to this country, I don't care how bad Trump is. Honestly, I mean, there's not too much to make me support Hillary over Trump. Now, I could be driven to go vote for Johnson, who's the only other viable alternative out there, but I'm not convinced that enough bad things have happened to turn people off of Trump and send them to Johnson.
Yeah.
And I am convinced that the Democrats are going to have a sorry, Senator, Trump thinks blacks can't be successful. He's constantly saying how bad things are. No, that's wrong. It's Hillary who is, in her emails, has come out and said that blacks cannot be successful because they're black.
Yeah.
What Trump is saying, and he's not articulating it very well, now trust me, what he's trying to say is that the policies of the Democrats since the 1950s has harmed black people. It's not that they can't be successful. He's saying that government is in the way and it's causing problems for the black community, and that they would be more successful.
You're listening to New Day Black and Red.
The Obama administration is highly destructive of the black community and jobs and whatnot. I mean, since the Civil War, blacks have not been out of work this bad until ignore the lady that's talking. We haven't been this bad off. since the Civil War for blacks being unemployed. And while I agree with you that, well, I got a guy in here that says Hillary cough. I'm not sure where his position is, but he says that Trump's the most unqualified candidate. I don't know how you say that and compare him to Hillary.
Yeah.
Well, again, we are not advocates of Trump, but we're simply realists when it comes to Hillary. Go ahead, Ken.
And according to the legal code, Section 18 of the federal code, Hillary Rodham Clinton is disqualified from being president. Quite frankly, because by the fact that you had collusion and corruption in the DOJ doesn't make her not guilty of the charges that were considered. She's never been brought before a court of law. So, quite frankly, the next go-around, someone could bring her up on charges, and then we will find out whether she is guilty or not guilty. But simply not bringing charges to someone does not determine whether they're guilty or not guilty of a crime. Okay? A lot of corruption, a lot of collusion.
No, use the right word. Yeah, because the caller, Ken, said that because she wasn't charged, he was innocent, or Hillary's innocent, and that's just balderdash.
That's bull. Dude!
Innocent because they chose not to charge her. But keep this in mind, there are a bevy of FBI agents who have gotten a lawyer and are suing the head of the FBI for not pursuing Hillary Clinton with charges because they did all this work and they proved all these charges against her, and then a political decision was made not to prosecute her, not a legal decision. And let's keep that in mind.
Exactly.
And that they are not.
Exactly. And the
political.
And the attorney who's handling that particular case happens to be Joseph DeGeneva, former U.S. attorney, who is a great supporter of whistleblowers, no matter what the administration is, whether it's George W. Bush or Barack Hussein Obama. He has been a great, great attorney for whistleblowers, and they came out on Wednesday and made a very special announcement at 5 p.m. in Washington, D.C., that Joseph DeGeneva had been hired by those attorneys because they're ready to whistleblow. And they're going to be working out their particular case along the way. But people, if you've ever been in drug court, you understand that just because they didn't prosecute you to the fullness of the law or threw out the charges, my God, that's a court decision. She never made it to court. So guilty and innocence cannot be ascribed to her. And the problem is the media is allowing you, whoever you are, no matter where you are, to explain to people that Hillary Rodham Clinton is not guilty because they didn't bring charges. I don't know about you, but in gang violence, sometimes they don't bring charges because they're trying to put their whole case together. Sometimes you got to wait a few years for things to matter or to come together in its fullness or whatever. So don't go with that. It's not because someone gets charges dropped or not considered that they're not guilty. It's just that they haven't been considered in the court of law. Now, in the court of public opinion, when Donald Trump is already a rapist, she's been made innocent. And we have a problem in our country because there are individuals who have decided that the rule that comes from public opinion is greater than the rule of law. And if we don't return back to the rule of law, then the corruption that was done to allow her to be free will become rampant in all of our states and the District of Columbia and our territories. And you don't know what hell you have come under until the rule of law doesn't apply to everybody. When one person's greater than the other.
Oh, no. Yeah. And that's what we were founded against, that no man would be above the law. That we would all be, we have these problems with the king, and the king's people were above the law, and the rest of us, weren't. Yeah. And we're back to that again with what's going on now. The Congress exempts itself from laws it passes, and the government, who are supposed to be protecting our interests, are in cahoots and with them. And but you what I do, any of these things. Just do one thing of all the things that Hillary was accused of. If you were to do just one of them, would you still be a free man walking around?
No, you wouldn't. It's just that simple.
No. I'm afraid that if Hillary gets elected, I'll be in some education camp.
Oh my goodness. We all will be in education camps. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to New Day Black and Red on SHR Media, also on High Plains Pundit Media, Ustream and Livestream. We give you a scriptural as well as a constitutional viewpoint on current issues of the day. Represented here is, of course, the Professor Dr. Michael Jones. And he is the underground professor. You'll hear him on Blog Talk Radio and also SHR. I happen to be Ken McClinton, the owner.
No. Let's clear that up, Ken.
What?
That I am not burdened with having my show being rebroadcast on SHR Media or being live on Pundit Press.
There you go.
Other people are, but I'm simply white and not worth it.
Oh, thank God for affirmative action.
That's right. I'm just another old white guy with an opinion, so it doesn't matter.
And tonight tonight we were off to a bang start. The secular righteous, the Leftist Vatican, their messengers and WikiLeaks. And what I mean by the Leftist Vatican, it would be Pontiff Hillary Rodham Clinton. A political revolution is taking place with a pen and a phone. Faith, free speech, and self-defense have perished. And there are a number of WikiLeaks issues that have been brought to the fore. But the one that I admire most is the professor handling something that WMAL 630 in Washington, D.C., Fox News and many other stations won't even consider covering because it initially is horrible and offensive, but as well it actually tags Hillary Rodham Clinton for not only who she is, but what the Democrat Party is all about. And I'm going to read to you what she wrote on immigration in an email to Robert Russo. She said, "It's no brain surgery, but the media have long failed to provide a clear, credible answer on terms of what makes successful immigration. They are unable to come up with an answer or don't like the answer that's staring them in the face. You want to know what that answer is? Here it is. The main reason behind successful immigration should be painfully obvious to even the most dim-witted of observers. Some groups of people are almost always highly successful given only half a chance. They happen to be Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, and Chinese people, for example. While others, Muslim, blacks, and Roma or Gypsies, for instance, fare badly almost irrespective of circumstance. The biggest group of humanity can be found somewhere between those two extremes, the perennial overachievers and the professional never-do-wells. The professor happens to be part of that overachiever group. I happen to be part of the never-do-well group. And right there is an expression of one of the most racist, bigoted people on the face of the earth. A woman who kissed Senator Byrd, who was a former KKK Grand Master, who was also eulogized by Obama and also Bill Clinton. So, ladies and gentlemen, racism is alive and well, and it's in the Democrat Party, and the KKK Grand Master of the Democrat Party happens to be their nominee, Hillary Rodham Clinton. So I thank you so much for covering that, sir, but there are a multitude of other WikiLeaks that we can talk about as well.
That's it? That's all you got?
No, I got some more here. But I want to talk with you.
You've been on a roll. I've just been sitting here, holding on to the chair.
I know. Oh my God. Okay. Well, can we go with Griswold in Connecticut for a moment? Because there's a discussion by the media elite in the political class that the Podesta letters, the Clinton letters, and all the other emails that are being downloaded by WikiLeaks is private. And thus, the offense is not what Hillary said. The offense is that it was stolen. I wanted to get your opinion regarding Griswold versus Connecticut, where the Supreme Court Justice Hugo Black said privacy is a broad, abstract, and ambiguous concept, and whether we should just disavow all the WikiLeaks because they were stolen and hijacked and then resubmitted out to the public, or should we be concerned with what's written in those WikiLeaks?
Well, first off, for everybody who doesn't know, Justice Hugo Black was a racist. He hated black people. He was very fond of the KKK, and he hated Catholics and Jews.
Yes.
And he had, every decision was based on the ability to punish those three groups. Okay, having said that, there is nothing in the Constitution that directly talks about a right to privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And as I have said, some of the anti-federalists that were pushing for the Bill of Rights, the Federalist argument was, if we did this, someday in the future there will be idiots out there who think the only rights you have are those that are listed in the Constitution. And so, but there are ways to surmise that the Founding Fathers expected a right to privacy. When you look at decisions like, I'll go back to the Third and Fourth Amendments, and that they were the impetus of the Founding Fathers for the right to privacy, not Griswold decision and how Justice Hugo Black came up with that, or the idea that they came up with that emanating from the penumbra of the Constitution that there was a right to privacy, right? So Griswold did.
Yeah.
All right. So now, did I cover enough of the basics of that?
Yeah, you covered the basics.
Getting into Margaret Sanger and her eugenics that Hillary is so fond of.
Exactly.
She's a big fan of Margaret Sanger, who wanted to get rid of the weeds of blacks in our country.
And in fact, on Saturday, we will be celebrating the 100th anniversary of her opening the first Planned Parenthood Center in New York. And she's been killing babies ever since. So there you go.
Yes.
Forgive me, go right ahead.
So, no. Did I answer your question on Griswold, or
yeah, you did.
Was there something specific that I missed?
No, that was a great laying out of the foundation, because it goes to the question of, because a lot of people I've heard say that whatever you type on the computer is private information. And I just don't know how you can possibly conceive that. And so you probably have a better answer than I would have. Go right ahead.
The Supreme Court has made a more recent decision, when Scalia was still alive, to tell you how recent it was, and it was this, that we do not have a right to expect privacy of things. There's a Fourth Amendment says our papers and effects. Now, what effects were back then were limited, of course, but they would include writing notes and books and notes and papers and missives and not just formal things, but informal written communication was protected under the Fourth Amendment. But the Supreme Court ruled that things because they were being asked to look at arguments like, is your trunk a place where you can keep papers and expect privacy? In Texas, we ruled that your car is an extension of the castle law, and that it is a part of your house. I mean, they cost almost as much as a house.
Yeah.
So why not? But other states have ruled that a car is a privilege and has nothing to do with your home, and you have no right for privacy inside it. And that's okay if those states want that. Again, this is a state issue, not a central government issue. But the right to see on things like the Supreme Court has ruled this, and you explain this because I can't.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court has ruled that on your iPhone or any phone that uses a thumbprint identifier, if you use the thumbprint, then it is not protected under the article under Amendment 4.
Yeah.
But if you type in the 4-digit code, it is. You see, you have a right to privacy if you type in a code, but if you use your thumbprint, it is not considered protected under privacy. And they tell you to open it, which is why I use my code. I don't use my thumb. And I recommend no one else to use their thumb protection either. It was supposed to make it more secure for us, but what it did was it gave the government an in way to screw with us under the Supreme Court, ruling that they can compel you to give your thumbprint or your fingerprints when they process you. So if that's true, then they can force you to use it on your phone too. That was their thinking in a nutshell. It's more complicated than that, but that is in a nutshell. So it's very much in play what is private and what is not. But you notice this. The Democrat Party, when they were listening in on
Newt Gingrich?
of the cell phone and the other scanning for Newt's cell phone so that they could monitor both parts of the conversation. And they got that. They released it to the public. Whatever Newt was talking about, I don't even remember now what the issue was. They were strategizing. He and the Senate Majority Leader and others were strategizing on the coming election. And it was released to the public, and the Democrats were not worried about how they got it. They weren't worried about right to privacy, which I think if you're on a cell phone and you're talking to a fellow member of your party, that you have a reasonable expectation that your right to privacy is being adhered to. You're not a Colombian drug lord that we're monitoring through the NSA to try and catch for the CIA to shut them down.
Yeah.
So, when you're Speaker of the House, you should probably have a right to privacy on these kind of things. Well, the Democrats weren't worried about that because, well, it was Republicans. So the Democrats are only worried about rights to privacy or how you get the information when Democrats get caught. And it's more important about the charge or what the information is when it's a Republican being caught.
Exactly.
And, in my book, it doesn't matter. The information was got legally or illegally. Too bad the information's out there. We have to deal with it.
Exactly.
And, just like I didn't quite foul when the Republican progressives released the Trump tape to the Democrat-controlled media in order to...
Exactly. And that goes to the statement that others are making, especially on Fox News and CNN, individuals who are telling us that how it was gotten is more important than what we are actually reading. And we have a scenario in a situation where individuals believe that because they type something on their computer, that they are absolutely safe without any concerns. But what I'm saying to you is, on the World Wide Web, everything is open. Anyone can access your information and pull it. Even more important is when Hillary Clinton is writing these leaked emails to individuals in her campaign and to the Clinton Foundation, she's writing them as Secretary of State, which means that really the emails that you're reading belong to the government. So all these government letters have gotten out that would have been considered eventually classified because it was written by the Secretary of State and hidden for a long time under government rule. But you have the great unique ability now to see all of it and see what she really is about. and she is one of the most racist, bigoted individuals on the face of the earth. But you would have known that by what the media is telling you about her. And so this goes to one of the WikiLeaks that she has. And I wanted your opinion regarding it. Wasserman Schultz was a big part of her campaign. Okay? And Wasserman Schultz called Jeff Weaver a damn liar when he said that virtually, forgive me, when he said there wasn't violence in Nevada. Okay? Meaning that during the course of the campaign in Nevada, meaning that there weren't violent protests at the Trump rallies and things of that nature. And she writes back to him, Jeff Weaver, that he's lying about that. In fact, that he was making it up. Jeff Weaver says, no, Trump is wrong. You know, we have interacted with state parties all across the country, and some are more fair than others. Some are, I have to say, some are extremely fair. It just happens in Nevada not to be the case. The bottom line is that these people were making stuff up as we went along, and they were getting help from CNN and from MSNBC. And I wanted your opinion on that because we're not hearing this. What we're hearing is Donald Trump relationship with young ladies 30 years ago. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, first off, we have emails showing that Hillary has instructed that emails be sent to her with the headers stripped off so that it did not contain classified headings. You know, and you see these emails that would say, we're having a hard time with the secure fax machine. And so she would write back, well, I need this information, so send it to me on the unsecure server and strip the header information, meaning that it would be cleaned of any documentation showing it was classified. So we know she was violating right there. That's enough to prosecute and convict. We don't need anything more over the violation of the National Secrets Act. But the fact that Hillary's lips move is probably sufficient evidence that she's lying about something. And I don't say that as a joke. She's a pathological liar.
Yeah.
You know, Trump lies, you lie, I lie. We all tell little lies. You know, but when your wife comes in, and this is the difference between you and me.
Mm-hmm.
My wife came in and said, does this pair of pants make my butt look big? I said, no. No. Because that's what you want to hear. But a black man, a wife comes in and says, this jeans make my butt look big? You say, yes, it does.
Yeah, baby. Oh, I like that.
Yes. Right. Yes. So you know better, but you don't lie. One of my favorite commercials of all time was Honest Abe Lincoln, and I think it was a Geico commercial. And Mary Todd Lincoln is put on a dress. Now, Mary Todd Lincoln was a looker in her time, but she became kind of fat and dumpy as the First Lady. And so they have this joke where she's got this big, plain black morning dress. She wore a lot of black after Todd or whoever it was died, the little boy that died.
Yeah.
And so in the commercial, she turns around and asks Honest Abe if her butt looks big. And, of course, it cuts away because you know Honest Abe's about to say yes. And you don't want to be there for that. The act of Hillary being honest on anything, any more than Bill Clinton, I mean, look at them. They lie about everything, even when the truth serves them better. And I see this because my ex-wife was like this, Ken. She lied about things even when the truth would have been better.
Yeah.
And it's just a habit. And then they have this unique ability to believe whatever it is they say because they said it. And they can be offended if anyone doesn't believe them, because they've uttered it, so therefore it's the gospel, you should believe it. And if you know this is what and there is so much going on with her that she's lying about that I'm bewildered to even know where to start, you know?
Yeah.
On that. And so if there's something specific on this that you asked me about and I missed it in the weeds, I don't know.
No.
Tell me and I'll talk about it. But
you're hitting on all points here, and that's the bottom line, is that we can't trust. I mean, it's one thing to have this shallow, naive picture of Donald Trump as this billionaire prince who repairs communities and builds golf clubs and never had a sexual escapade with 2 or 3 women at the same time. That's a wonderful, naive thought, and somehow you were dashed when you found out that he was not the Bruce Wayne that you thought he was, but merely another college grad playboy who enjoyed his youth. There's a big difference between that and a woman who would not provide air support for 4 men who died in Benghazi, along with 33 to 40 other people who were injured in the Benghazi 9/11 scenario situation. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I forgot. I had something funny to say, but I'm not sure I can remember.
Go ahead, say it!
I'm trying to remember. You said it a few seconds ago, and that was... I saw an advertisement for a Halloween costume that's a giant taco, and that kind of threw my mind. I remember now. It's this. I find a lot of things amazing in the world. And one of the things I find amazing is the defection of black people.
Okay, that could be scary, the way you broke out there. The defection of black... What? What's that? Okay.
Black voters are turning towards Trump.
Okay, there you go. Okay, great.
But I think they're turning on Hillary. Yeah. But go figure. You've got one that is giving you welfare for 30 years, and the other one builds golf courses, which is not exactly, I mean, we have like one black player, right? Tiger.
No, we have 2.
So,
we have 2.
Next, you're going to see black people voting for the guy who owns a hockey team.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to also make you aware that all the TV stations want to tell you that Donald Trump is down by 11 and 20 points since the quote-unquote scandal. The truth of the matter is, in national polling, he's up by 2. Trump with a 43% support rate among likely voters versus Hillary Clinton's 41%. And I just wanted to make that known to you. For those who happen to be in the broadcast central area of the Exceptional Conservative Show, I put that link in there so that you may be able to see it yourself and know that, quite frankly, they are hired to lie to you as ministers and messengers of the Leftist Vatican. The media is now, for the next 28 days, going to lie to you because they do not want what happened in 1979 to happen again, where an individual that they despise so greatly ends up becoming president of the United States. Donald Trump, by real standards, should walk away with this almost in a landslide. But they want you to think that the race is over, the election is over. There's no doggone way Donald Trump has a chance of winning. Hillary's going to win. And to make it even worse, they're telling you if Donald Trump wins, then he's going to lose the Senate and he's going to lose the House. Stop listening to the TVs, people. Please. Go right ahead.
Now, that's, as I was saying earlier on my show when you joined me, and I thank you for that, by the way, of allowing me some talk time on my own show earlier.
Well, I gave you 3 minutes. I gave you 3 minutes. You used it well.
It was like you were getting revenge for all. You were getting revenge for all the times I've been on your show. That's so happy, and the kindness that it was. But we talked about the polls and the fact that they are skewed with Democrat responders. I mean, think about it. These polls aren't cell phones; they're landlines. Who owns a landline today?
Yeah.
Blacks and Democrats, right? I mean, you have a landline?
Well, Muslims and also gypsies.
Go ahead, Ann.
Muslims and gypsies and blacks.
But you have a landline. See, I don't have a landline.
I don't have a landline.
Most of us are out working to pay for their... No, please. Okay, it's not like you allowed me in your house when I came to visit you in Washington, D.C.
I don't have a landline.
No, okay, I believe you. Thousands wouldn't, but I believe that, who's sitting at home answering those phones? It's people that are on welfare and not working. The rest of us are too darn busy.
Yeah.
On my TV, I have Charter or Spectrum or whatever they're called, and my TV flashes up a caller ID all the time. Now, I can't answer it because the only thing I have the voice over internet, whatever that is, protocols. I plug my fax machine into it, and that's it. I don't have access to it with a phone, so people can't talk to me on it. But I see the caller ID flash up, and I'm always getting these things. It's a political call, political survey, and I think, I don't want that, and I think most of us out working for a living don't. But the people who do answer it tend to be more Democrat-leaning than Republican, and the studies all show that.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very hard for people who are doing these surveys to get a balanced universe. We call this a universe. Of who makes up the study. The polling data is made up of people, and that is called a universe. And the bigger it is, the more realistic it is. And and depending on what you're looking for, the more generic it is, the better. And when you're doing political polling, then what you're looking for is a large cross-section of independents and Democrats and Republicans, people who are decided, people who are undecided, and then you can draw some conclusions. But you also have to look at other factors, like are they registered voters or not? Are they likely voters or not? Now, likely voter is somebody who voted in the last election.
Yeah.
Are they? And there's another category of voter where they have voted in like every election. No.
Exactly.
Which?
Mm-hmm.
These people. And so you have to look into the history of this polling data to see who is being looked at. And most of the people are Democrats. It's called weighted results. And so there are more Democrats polled than Republicans. Now, a good pollster will weigh that and say, if I had 60% Democrat respondents in my poll, then if 60 out of 100 say they're voting for Hillary over Trump, that's not a 60% win margin because you have to weight it. You have too many Democrats in your poll. And so what you need is to weight it so that it's 50-50 proposition. And I'm being loose on it because numbers don't mean much in radio. It's hard to do all that. Mm-hmm. Mary says I'm breaking up. Is it true?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're breaking in and out sometimes. So I try to fill it in when you break away. But you're doing a wonderful job.
Would you like to call me on my night?
No, you're fine. You're doing well.
Sure. I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, because actually we got about...
So anyway...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's what we got. Okay, how much time we got? About 20 minutes?
Well, actually, about About 20, yeah. Okay, we'll go with that.
Well, 10 minutes or so for you, Victor. Since you were so Christian on my show tonight, I figured you'll want to sum up your Christian portion of.
Well, somebody tested my crown, and I realized it was cracked this evening on my part. So I need to work on that.
Let me tell you what. When I saw you turn the other cheek, but it wasn't on your face.
Woo! Just saying. But lucky I wasn't packing. But anyway, we see.
I'm sorry. It's not that it wasn't required, but I'm with you on this.
Oh man. But a lot of people are talking about the fact that it's the Russians who are rigging our political system right now, and that they influence Julian Assange of WikiLeaks to hack and get all this information from the DNC, from the State Department, and so on. But why isn't anyone talking about the fact that Bernie Sanders was gypped in his race to become the Socialist Democrat presidential candidate for America? Why isn't anyone talking about that?
This is exactly what I asked for. Today at work, I was talking to some people. Now, I think it was yesterday or the day before, when the whole Trump thing broke out about his video, right? I have this guy at work, and I love him to death. He's a very good friend, and he talks trash about women and boobs and stuff all the time. All right? He's a locker room guy about women and sex. Now, he's married, and I highly suspect he doesn't get sex, and so he does this in lieu of having it. But he was adamant that this is another reason why he's supporting Hillary. He cannot support Trump at all now, ever. There's nothing that can change his mind because Trump said these words. And I looked at him and I had no class. I completely flummoxed, being diplomatic. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the mentality of dealing with kids. And I get it in a way because it protects them from realizing their hypocrisy and the fact that they're on the wrong side of this issue. So it's like your mind forgetting stuff. So like if you were a victim of a bad, their mind just forgets that. It forgets the details. You might know it generically. I can remember that I was, but I've forgotten most of the details because the brain does that to protect itself. And I think this is what's going on there. But when I asked them how you could support Hillary, forget Trump. I said, take Trump out of the whole thing. There's 169 people running for president right now. 169. We are not resorting to two people, although there are only two people that have any viable chance as we speak today.
Yeah.
But I said, how can you support Hillary knowing for a fact, this isn't even guesswork anymore, that they rigged the system with the media to destroy Bernie Sanders' chances of being the candidate for the Democrat Party? How can you support him? You might not support Trump, but how can you go and vote for Hillary knowing that she cheated and took away your choice, knowing that that entire Democrat primary was a scam, a farce, an exercise in futility for all the Democrats that dusted off the Cheetos from their stomachs, got off of their mom's couches, and waddled down to the polling precinct to cast their vote for Hillary or Bernie. And it was all a game. That it did not matter because the fix had already been placed in. How do you support that? How do you support someone with all of the accusations that we're seeing of all the wrongdoing, all the deaths, all the crimes, all the felons, all the chicanery of the Clinton Foundation, which I've heard a rumor is shutting down in the next few weeks. I don't know if that's true, so I'm not leading it as news.
Yeah.
But I have heard a rumor from a source that they are preparing to shut down the Clinton Foundation. And And I got that about 5 or 6 days ago, and I'm to it because I've had way too many other things put out fire-wise. But
exactly.
But think about this. How do you support someone like that? And the fact is that they support it because they don't stop to think, because they can't afford to.
Hmm.
Does that answer your question?
It does. It does indeed. It looks at the character. And this is really where I'm coming to towards the end of this as we talk about Hillary Rodham Clinton as the Vatican leftist, the leader, the pontiff leader of the leftist movement in America, the messengers being the media and the Democrat prophets around the country, and also WikiLeaks being the spoiler in black and red against those who have misused our political system. There was a woman who responded to me on Facebook when I put out the information that Hillary Rodham Clinton said such outlandish things about needy Latinos, never do-wellers as blacks, Muslims, gypsies, very candid and antithetical idea about Catholicism, and in evangelicals as well. Just a really mean-spirited sprite of a woman. And her response back to me was, well, Donald Trump or Hillary Rodham Clinton, it doesn't matter. God is on the throne. And why is it that we cannot, Miss Brenda Brown, focus on just Hillary Clinton for the moment? Why can we not just focus on her character? Why isn't that amongst Democrats, when you identify the flaw in the character of the person that they support, they immediately shift to your candidate? Can you explain that to me?
No. It's deflection. And I think you brought this up on your show a number of times. It's and Agador, I know, certainly has, that the left is very prone to accuse you of what they do on a routine basis, and then you're on the defense about it. And the fact is we care. I was talking to a good friend of mine who I think is confused about his political sexuality. He doesn't know if he's a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah.
He's married to a black lady, and so he thinks he should be Democrat and support her. I think he thinks that he's betraying her by not being a Democrat, but I think he's sickened by Hillary Clinton. But Trump is not exactly someone you go running to and say, thank God, this is better.
Exactly.
So not when you're on the perspective of already being a Democrat and a leftist, right? So, bless his heart, I think he's having a hard time with this. But I asked him, I said, how do you support all the unethical things that Hillary did? I said, I get that the left isn't really high on ethicality and morality, and that they slaughter Republicans for doing anything wrong because, quote unquote, we're the moral ones, we're the ethical ones. That we think we're better than everybody because we push and promote ethics, right?
Yeah.
Morality, family values, and stuff. It doesn't mean that we're all perfect, but we're Christian and we push Christianity, and we fail at being perfect Christians, but we still push it. It's a goal. We try. But what the left doesn't understand is that doesn't make us better. What makes us better is the fact that we try and we believe in a higher power, not that we're better than them because we're perfect. And I think they forget that. And so they attack us and accuse us of these things. And I think that's the problem that we're at today, Ken, is that they don't understand that the morale and ethics are critical. Pick a founding father and tell me one who did not have some kind of quote that said that the only way to be a free person is to have ethics and morals, that we can't lead ourselves without it. And when you look at this, you think, okay, I want my welfare checks to continue. I need the government to help me. Fine, if you believe that, I'm not going to argue that point right now. But what makes you think that putting someone in like Hillary will guarantee that? I mean, Trump, for God's sake, has already come out and said he wants to increase the money for, what is that, baby duty, right? For moms to have babies.
Yeah.
And paid leave and all that. I mean, so it's not exactly like he's a constitutionalist scholar either, you know, a constitutional scholar and pushing that. He is, I think we have just as much chance of him expanding the expense of government as we did under George Bush. Oh, wait. I think I have to. So, yeah, this is why you and I aren't excited about that. But, you know.
Exactly.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've been given a constitutional view of the issues that we're facing, and even a street side view in my animation earlier in tonight's show. I guess y'all never seen me as a street brother. Oh, wow. That's a lot of alleyways.
I was in the hood.
I know. Oh, brother man don't know how you get cut like that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the spiritual portion of it. The spiritual portion. You gotta be careful walking in my hood.
Hey, before you start, Ken?
Yeah.
Kim, before you start, I wanted to try something out. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. This is how I'm going to start doing my show. And
well, I would tell you, I think that's absolutely perfect, because what we really have to do when we're talking about issues like this, we have to be very pertinent, that people understand that we are really trying to do our very best at this, and, you know, and I think that's a very good start.
So we're in agreement. What the heck? You know, the first time we found out that Trump's mic was gained all the way up. Somebody screwed with the potentiometer on it and pushed the pot to the right, and, you know, and it picked up every noise. Did they do it again to him?
Yeah.
Because I accept that excuse once.
No,
what the heck?
No, they did. No, it's true. They do it. They do it every. It didn't happen for her. You didn't hear her breathing at all. The microphone from where he was holding it was up so high you could actually hear him breathing. And first and foremost, he's not the most athletic man in the face of the world, so maybe losing a couple of pounds will help with the breathing, and also practicing singing will help too. But other than that, if you have those mics pulled all the way up, and I know a lot of people complain that my mic isn't all the way up, and on some nights, like tonight, you don't really need it all the way up. But once that mic goes up, you hear everything. There is nothing that you can't hear. And so sometimes a little bit of privacy is good. Listen, 1 Samuel chapter 8 of the King James Bible is where I'm going to read it from. And I'm going to read the entire 22 verses because I want you to get an understanding what you're facing today. 1 Samuel 8:1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, like the Constitution, but turned aside after lucre, money, and took bribes, and perverted judgment. Clinton Foundation. Since some of y'all might be a little slower than others, I'm trying to throw this out for you. 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 4. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together. An election took place. And came to Samuel unto Ramah. 1 Samuel 8:5. And said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. And I want you to get this particular verse, Melech. Here we go.
Psalms 8:44-28.
Melech. And this is a problem with America.
Bless you.
Thank you very much. This is a problem with America. A lot of people want a Melech. They want a king. They're trying to find the perfect person to rule. And God never wanted you to have a perfect person ruling you as a man. He wanted you to submit to him. 1 Samuel 8:6. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. 1 Samuel 8, verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people, and all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected you, thee. It's the word used here, but I wanted to make it plain for you. They have not rejected thee. They have not rejected Dr. Jones. They have not rejected the exceptional one. But they have rejected me, God, that I should not reign over them. 1 Samuel 8:8. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, or given them a constitution, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, little Gods's, so do they also unto thee. 1 Samuel 8:9. Now therefore hearken unto their voice. Howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. Hillary Rodham Clinton. 1 Samuel 8:10. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king. They have been forewarned. They have been told, listen, what you're asking for is going to eventually lead to your destruction and your demise. And you will lose God in the process. Because really, the fight right now in terms of this election is not about all the things that we've been talking about besides the fact that it is God versus anti-God people. Simple as that. And he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He shall take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be horsemen. And some shall run before his chariots. They will enslave your children. Ever hear of the national debt? 1 Samuel 8:12. And he shall appoint him captains over thousands, and captains over 50s, and will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war, and instruments of his chariots. He's going to send your children off to wars that he creates. In 1 Samuel 8:13, and he will take your daughters to be confectionaries, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. Take them out of the home from parenting your children, replace it with a government program providing daycare for them, and then put them to work someplace else. That's basically what that means. 1 Samuel 8:14. And he will take your fields and your vineyards. Anybody ever hear of the estate tax? Pay attention. And your almyards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. Bureaucrats. 1 Samuel 8:15. And he will take the tenth of your seed, your tithing money, called taxation. So the more they tax you, the less tithe you got. Tell that to your pastor. And of your vineyards, and give to his officers and to his servants. See, because you got to bribe folk. 1 Samuel 8:16. And he will take your men servants, and your maid servants, your good folk who work for you, and your goodliest young men, and your asses, your cars, and put them to his work. 1 Samuel 8:17. He will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. 1 Samuel 8:19. And ye shall cry out in that day, because of your king, which ye shall have chosen you. And the Lord will not hear you in that day. Be fearful, America, because the next time you vote, God may shut his ears forever. 1 Samuel 8:19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, nay, but we will have a king over us, just like the ones in Europe. 1 Samuel 8:20. That we may also be like all the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. 1 Samuel 8:21. And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he rehearsed them in the ears of the Lord. He went back and told God everything the people said to him. And you want to hear what the Lord said? 1 Samuel 8:22. And the Lord said to Samuel, hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, go ye, every man, unto his city. Go home. We're going to find somebody to rule over you and make you slaves. They had escaped Egypt as slaves, and now in their free land, they wanted to be made slaves again. How many American voters want to do the very same thing? If I elect someone to government, they will take care of my every problem, my every need, my every burden. They will give me what I want when I need it, and I'll be satisfied. And in truth, the burden becomes so great that your nation eventually falls, and it may take you another 2,000 years for a war to take place and for them to carve out a piece of place in the Middle East for you to be called a nation once more. Professor, your thoughts?
Well, it's always hard to follow you on that, but let me say this. I was thinking about the Marine, the alleged Marine that called us tonight. Not the second Marine that actually like a Marine. I was thinking about what he was saying, and I'm seeing two trends. I'm seeing people that are sticking to their guns politically, no matter how bad their candidate is, Trump or Clinton. And I'm seeing a new group of people that are better than the rest of us, right? They're not going to vote. They're going to protest. They're going for somebody else. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking about Bailey. My daughter was.
Exactly. We're not talking about baby girl.
Because she's not. She's just frustrated. Yeah, she's frustrated. But there are people that are acting above it, like they're too good for him. You're like the guy that called in, right? He was better than you and I. Yeah. He was trying to school us, and that we were stupid because we couldn't see how the elites like him could lead the rest of us and do it. And it reminded me of a quote from my favorite president and commander-in-chief when I went in the military. He was talking about the nuclear freeze proposals between the Soviet Union and America. And the whole speech became one of his most celebrated speeches. The left hated it because they thought this nutcase is going to get us into a nuclear war. He's pissing off the Soviet Union for no reason. But let me give you just a paragraph. Mm-hmm. It's actually, I think it's only one sentence, if I'm not mistaken, but it's a long sentence. So, in your discussions of the nuclear freeze proposals, I urge you to beware the temptation of pride, the temptation of blithely declaring yourselves above it all and label both sides equally at fault, to ignore the facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire, to simply call the arms race a giant misunderstanding and thereby remove yourself from the struggle between right and wrong and good and evil. And I suggest to this audience, and Ken and I are deeply humbled and thankful for you guys to come, but I would suggest to you that we are in a fight between good and evil.
Yes.
And I don't mean between Trump and Hillary. I mean between the forces who want to destroy your liberties and your freedoms and the Constitution and to rule you, versus those of us that are the last stand to defend it. And I mean last stand to defend that precious document and the work of our founding fathers and the sacrifices of the men and women.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And we missed the professor. Listen, if you're excited about what you heard tonight, I am too. And I love the professor. God bless him. Dr. Michael Jones, you can hear him on Sunday. In fact, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. God's Time, Central Time, out of Texas on Blog Talk Radio. And quite frankly, he was leading us to a very good point. Mr. and Mrs. America, turn your TV off. Stop listening to Shepard Smith and all the rest of them tell you that the election is over. Hold true to your faith, be courageous, and vote for liberty, freedom, and justice. Because after this election, you may not have the option of either three of them any longer. Want to wish you all the very best. And a friend of mine who just dropped from the phone once told me, Ken, always be brave. Don't die a coward. I promise you I always will. Without a shadow of a doubt, I always want to remind you to remember just one thing. God bless America. It's time for America to bless God. We'll see you back here on Monday night at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And next Thursday also for New Day Black and Red. God bless you all and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.